and finishing with a snooker. The other side of the coin, had Neal made that yellow, it looked as if he'd have been snookered on the green by the black, so he's having a bit of running at the present time.
With the position of the 6 colours, one would have thought that whoever gets the yellow should take the frame.
Yes, the position of the colours are also good for laying a snooker. Played very fine at that yellow with a load of right-hand spin applied to the cue ball, and it just swerved enough to miss it.
Those famous specs are letting him down there. Now, can Dennis get through there?
Yes, I think the line to the yellow is clear, but it's going to require a good shot here. Oh, and that's a good one. Very good shot.
The points at the moment all square. He must get comfortable, and of course one toe must be on the floor.
Yes, he has the brown to the centre pocket or the far corner. If looking for the easiest way to position onto the blue, that will make the decision as to which pocket he'll go for.
Now he needs both blue and pink to make the frame safe, and also, of course, to win it.
Yes, and that wasn't a good one, I'm afraid. Putting so much concentration into the pot, he's run right out of position.
What's he done here?
Yes, it could have been disastrous, but it's going to be very difficult blue ball to pocket at that angle. Had it travelled another inch, it would have been easy. That's how much difference it's made. There's virtually no pocket opening there to aim at.
You can see by that picture the blue has to curve around that pocket to get in there. Well, this must be considered a half a chance for Dennis Taylor. Slam this into the bottom and bring the cue ball slightly back for the pink. Bus right away. What's worse, of course, he's left it. This frame toing and froing. And if Neal wins it, it's going to upset Dennis quite a bit. This calls for a deep screw. Could have done with a little more power, but it's still on. An extraordinary game of snooker. And finally, it's Neal Foulds who takes the lead at 2 games to 1.
Play, you'll hear from Eddie Charlton and Ted Lowe.
Could have finished better on the blue than he has. But he has use of blue to the corner or green to the corner to return to the reds.
Nine. 50.
Yes, it was a good pot from a difficult position. I'm sure Neal intended to just ease off the cushion for the black, and he's come a little too far, which has made a real cut out of this shot. He'll need to be careful with it. It's not an easy one. Now with the black back on its spot, it's much clearer sailing.
Four.
"13 points the lead now, and no reason why he shouldn't decide this frame at this visit. Loosely spread those reds, nice positions, black completely free.
Just overrun the intended red to the corner far enough to make it uncomfortable for himself. However, he has two choices. He can either draw the cue ball around the black and play it to the same pocket, or a more gentle shot and play it to the other corner. The four reds clustered by the pink spot do need to be disturbed. They're blocking one another's passage to the pocket, so Neal's got to play a good position shot here. Now, if he can just position onto any one of those four reds, it will automatically open the way for the other three. At 61, this becomes the highest break of the match so far.
61.
And he's run a little bit short. $50 points ahead. There's still 59 points on the table. 4 reds, 4 blacks, and the colours.
Neal Foulds, 61.
Yeah, good break there by Neal Foulds, who's playing so much better this season after being in the doldrums for quite a little while. That proved to be enough eventually for him to take the frame, so interval time in that session, and Neal Foulds has the lead of 3 frames to 1 over Dennis Taylor. We'll have more of that match later in this programme. Very busy here today. The practice tables are in demand, and in fact just across the way from me there's Mike Hallett, winner of a ranking tournament this season, won the Hong Kong Open. He's just warming up for his first round match against Steve Newbury, and that starts tomorrow afternoon. I won't actually put him off. Bang, it's nice pink. If he does that tomorrow, I'll be quite happy as well. Might even smile, you never know. But that's practice. Let's get back to reality, because as you saw on the other table, and we're going to concentrate now on Dennis Taylor. Playing Neal Foulds, and at the interval, as you saw, Neal Foulds had gone in leading by 3 frames to 1. Let's take the very next frame. It's in progress. There's no score on the board at the moment. This is Dennis Taylor, and it's Eddie Charlton and Ted Lowe providing the words.
Nice angle on the blue now to position onto the red.
Six.
Looking at getting to the black as quickly as he can, but it's the red closest to the black that he'd like to move to open the black up to both sides of the table.
Neal is playing some pretty solid snooker in this match. Oops, that went straight through the pocket.
Seven.
that time he's misjudged it. Into no man's land. Potts is way out of trouble.
32.
Now a chance here of running into the reds if he wishes. Bit unlucky there, Neal. He's pushed the red up towards the black and therefore made life difficult in potting the black, but the pink is still available. Break reaches 50.
50.
This is very good play that we're seeing from Neal Foulds. He's working hard for this break. The red by the black has the pocket to the left cut off, but he's got one pocket for the black, the pink's open, as is the blue.
57.
To move that red near the black, but he's been unable to get onto it as yet.
Neal Foulds.
Yes, a very nice break of 60 there from Neal Foulds. He's left 67 on the table.
Now, because of the scores, Dennis may well decide to take this red on. He can get to pink or black off the red, but he's got to make the good opening pot.
He's taken the first red and colour.
Seven.
Now, what a frame to win. But he wants the lot.
Yes, that was a nicely played, good billiard shot, cannoning onto the pink, lining it up for the centre pocket. Now if Dennis can get onto the black
14.
nicely to position onto the one red by the top cushion, that's the problem red.
15.
He's leaving the difficult red to last. Now, nice position on the black.
21. Two.
Perfect. He can drop right onto the red now.
So this is the crunch ball.
29. Dennis Taylor, 29.
Yes, that's a good shot. And Dennis will be pleased with that. Could it be a shot to nothing for Neal? Cut the red past the yellow to the corner and get the cue ball down in behind the black or pink.
One.
Well, he has choice of either black or pink.
And Neal just making sure of the pink there. 38 points ahead. Dennis requiring 3 snookers now.
Neal folds. 7.
Yeah, Taylor requiring 3 snookers, I think, purely just to get back on the table after the interval. He played around for quite a long time there, but he didn't get anything out of it. So Foulds goes into the lead 4-1, and on we go.
Frame 6. Neal folds.
Oh, it's an excellent break, keeping the pressure on Dennis. Yes, that was a fluke, I'm afraid. He attempted a safety. The position's not bad on brown or green either to return to the reds. And the way they're positioned, it could be a very handy fluke, that red. Neal's not missing too much either. He's potting extremely well.
The first break of the frame, this.
Neal really needs to move the red closer to the left corner pocket to open that pocket up for the black. May not take it now because he's awkward bridging over the cluster of reds. But it's certainly the ball to move.
One. $24. $32. $33.
I wonder what's going through his mind.
40.
Well, I should think, Ted, that Dennis is beginning to realise that Neal could clinch this frame from this break, and it all started with a fluke. Once again, he's played absolutely spot-on position.
49.
Break goes to 56.
56. Seven.
His third break of 60 and more.
64. $75.
With this black, Dennis is unable to win the frame, without snookers, that is.
$72.
The highest break of the match so far, 72, and only 67 points left on the table.
Neal Foulds.
Dennis Taylor concedes with 5 reds left, and Neal Foulds leads 5 frames to 1.
Whoever does win this match will play either Willie Thorne or Tony Drago. In case you've just come in, Willie leads at the end of their first session, 6 frames to 3. On to the next one with Taylor and Foulds in. This is what faces Taylor. As you can see, he's 3 points behind.
There's distance between the two reds, so he can make the plant, but not on that occasion.
Now this is the best chance that Dennis has had for quite some time.
That puts him back in front.
8. Nine. Sixteen. 17. 24.
'Bring the red by the side cushion further out into play here by making a cannon onto it. But you can't always expect to be on a colour playing that type of shot. Oh, he took the risk and look what's happened. And blue was on, of course, but he knows he'd lose the frame if he misses it.
So with a lead of 22 points, he's going to just... Oh!
Foul. Dennis Taylor 25. Neal Foulds 6.
Well, the nerves really are jumpy at the moment. Changed the whole attitude of the frame now. 16 points in it. Yes. That one went straight down the center of the pocket.
Yes, Neal's in a very strong position now to take this frame again. Not all that difficult to get onto the last remaining red.
Fine. Six.
8.
now, all the colours on their spots. Just 4 points in it. Oh, it really is amazing. Countless times he must have cleared those colours. In the World Championship, he makes a mess of it.
Neal Foulds, 14.
Well, again, the fortune changes. One moment, it looked odds-on that Neal Foulds would take the frame. Now, it's for Dennis Taylor. And Dennis certainly badly needs a frame. Trailing at the moment by 4 frames.
Seven.
That puts him 14 points in front with 13 points left. This pink to finish the frame. Dennis makes it, pulls 1 frame back, and what a difference that makes. He trails now, 2 frames to 5.
He needed that one, didn't he? In fact, Taylor's only lost to Foulds once. Would you believe that's the only time they've met in the World Championship? 1987, when Foulds won 13-10. On to the next one. In progress is Foulds behind that cue, and there's the score.
Now, will he chance the swerve? Has to judge it very carefully if he does.
The problem with the red that is onto the opposite corner, the cue ball would go into the second red and perhaps leave him on no colour, so he's trying to cut one red onto the other. Oh, and it missed by a fraction.
A chance then for Neal Foulds here. 13 points behind at the moment.
Not easy to get onto a colour though. Ted is it, he's over the green, red close to the pocket. Oh, and that's a nice kiss. Black to the centre now.
Eight. Nine.
Into the lead. The last 3 reds at his mercy.
21. Twenty-two. Twenty-eight. Twenty-nine. Neal Foulds, 29.
Well, the important ball he wanted. And he could have thrown the frame away there.
Two.
Now brown to blue is Dennis's only problem.
Looking good.
9. Fourteen.
He's not going to forget that blue for a long time. And Dennis holding himself together extremely well here. He's made it. Just 2 frames behind now as he pulls another one back. Neal Foulds leading 5 frames to 3.
Leaving them one more to play in this session, and in fact that is now in progress on this Easter Saturday afternoon here in the Crucible. And where better place to go than pop in and watch it live here as we're coming to the end of our program. And there's the score: Dennis Taylor 14, Neal Foulds 8, and Foulds leading by 5 frames to 3 and in play. This is what's happening right now here in the Crucible.
Yes, this last frame of this particular session has now been going 27 minutes. Still have 9 reds on the table.
10.
Neal with his nose in front at the moment. It appears the blue will pass between red and yellow into that left-hand pocket. Completely mishit that one.
Neal Foulds, 16.
Dennis just looking at the two reds together there, whether they're a plant. Well, I think that red's possible, Eddie, don't you?
Well, it's certainly on, Ted. Dennis certainly didn't want the cue ball to collide with the blue either, but now that it has, it's opened those colours up. But the way the reds are positioned, I think this frame will take some working out for quite some time yet. And that's not a good one either.
Round.
Oh, he's got the green as well.
Foul.
So both balls are respotted. It cost him 4 points.
4.
This has been quite an extraordinary for him, Snooker. But gradually these reds, which are all knocked to the wrong end of the table, are now disappearing down to the last 6. Dennis back 2 points in front.
6.
So there's a situation, long way to go in this frame, and a long way to go in the match, of course, because it comes to its last session tomorrow. But Neal Foulds 5, Dennis Taylor 3 here at this moment. Let me update you on the other match you saw, Doug Mountjoy and Brady Gollan. Brady Gollan, the Canadian, leads 5-4, and that is played to a finish tomorrow, which leads us to tonight, the match between Steve James and Alex Higgins. Higgins came back yesterday. He's 4-5 down. He's right here, right now. This is the practice, the reality. It's tonight on BBC 2 at 11:05.
To the middle.
Alex Higgins, 20.
Alex Higgins concedes forthwith. Steve James has played exceptionally well. From 5-all, he won 5 frames in succession to win by 10 frames for 5.
So James was through and will meet Steve Davis. But that was the end of the match, and Higgins didn't seem to realise that, or what else was happening. The table was being covered, and Higgins just sat there. Nothing was very clear at that point. Eventually he did leave and walked into what became a rather volatile press conference.
Well, chaps, the current events of the last few weeks have not been very, very good in this way or the other. So I would like to announce my retirement from professional snooker. I left professional snooker, I was number 12. I do not want to be ever again in my lifetime to actually be less than job satisfaction. As far as I'm concerned, I'd like to congratulate, who is it, my opponent, Steve. He's a nice lad. He means well and all the rest. But I'm not playing snooker anymore because this game is the most corrupt game in the world. No more snooker for the Hurricane.
Allegations by Higgins there of corruption. He made a number of other statements against individual members of the press and certain other people. He actually managed to mention Margaret Thatcher and the Board of Trade as well. And even more serious was that the press officer of the WPBSA down here at the tournament has alleged that Higgins hit him on the way into the press conference, and that was witnessed by the assistant tournament director, and reports are going in. So, yet again, Higgins, is it going to be the last time? Because you heard him say it, he has resigned from professional snooker. Well, the recently elected chairman of the WPBSA is John Spencer. And John, what is going to happen?
Well, that is the official statement. David, I'd rather you read it out. I can't see it at present.
Well, I know that John has a few problems with his eyes at the moment, and I know this literally he's just come into the studio. The WPBSA have been meeting here this morning, and so I'll read what he's just given me. At a lengthy after-match press conference late last evening, Alex Higgins made quite a few disparaging statements about the game of snooker and individuals connected with the game. Taking into account the statements and the complaint already received of an alleged assault on the press officer prior to the press conference, the board of the WPBSA will be taking the appropriate action to invoke the disciplinary procedure as laid down within the articles of the association as soon as possible. Taking the appropriate action to invoke the disciplinary procedure as laid down within the articles of the association as soon as possible. John, I have to say that we seem to have heard this before.
Possibly, David. We have the articles of the association, of course, which we have to abide by. There is a cooling off period. Alex will be notified of the complaints that have been received. He has to have time, of course, to put his own case together. We will be having a meeting of the board on the 18th of this month, when this will be discussed again.
Have you officially received his resignation from the game that he said about last night?
No.
What can happen to him? What is allowed to happen to him under these articles of the association?
Well, within the articles of the association, anything from a fine to banned.
If he resigns, of course, there won't be a problem for him.
That's right.
But I think a lot of people are going to say, you know, this yet again is another Higgins blow-up. We've heard so many of them. They've happened at Reading, they've happened at Wembley, they've happened in Ireland, and nothing really seems to happen. He still carries on playing snooker.
Well, that's what's happened in the past. We'll just have to see what happens in the future. Obviously, I can't pass any comments that may prejudice the case. We'll be discussing it on the 18th. All I can say, it's a very sad day for snooker.
I think we'll echo that. John Spencer, thank you. I'll put that on one side for posterity. Let's concern ourselves with snooker then, and this is what's happening here today on the two tables. Two new matches starting out. That's Mike Hallett against Steve Newbury this afternoon, and tonight Terry Griffiths against Nigel Gilbert. The other matches there, as you can see, in progress and being played to a finish here today. Let us start this morning with, it's just this afternoon now, isn't it, with Dennis Taylor and Neal Foulds. Dennis Taylor, the champion, of course, in '85. He also reached the final previous to that in '79 when he was beaten by Terry Griffiths. And Neal Foulds, a semi-finalist in 1987. Now, Neal has been going through a bit of a bad patch of late, but suddenly he started to play snooker much better again. And in fact, at the end of that first session, as you can see, he was leading Dennis Taylor 5-4. Here's the first they played today. It's in progress, and it's Neal Foulds at the table, leading 19-4. And Clive Everton will be commentating.
Good pot. He knew that it was a shot to nothing, but it was a very good pot from that distance. Now he has a nice angle on the brown to come up to the reds or lay a snooker.
Neal Foulds. 1.
Very difficult for Dennis to keep them safe here if he does hit a red. In the end, he'll probably just try and lay the cue ball on the red by the black. Oh, he's coming down onto the pack, but he had to leave a red doing this. It's a good shot to hit them.
Really good. Seven. Eight.
Nice angle on the red that he's now taking to push further reds out into the open as well.
50.
Yes, that's a good position shot as well, so it's looking good for Neal here.
Seven. 33.
Deep screw shot required again now to go back for the blue.
Neal Foulds.
Neal missed one or two shots yesterday overreaching, and he's just done the same thing again there.
Yes, that was a good chance to convert that 49-point lead into a frame-winning contribution. The problem about this safety shot is that he doesn't want to double the red into the brown. The other problem might be doubling the red into the yellow if he played it the other way. And of course, the further he goes from a full ball contact on the red, the more difficult it's going to be to keep the cue ball near the baulk cushion.
He almost needs a step ladder for this shot.
It's more like a round tree fruit gum on the end of it.
Well, you might have heard that. It looks like a fruit gum on the end of here, rather than a tip. That's not nerves, that's the cue that's quivering.
Well, it's turned out a good shot in the end. No doubt Neal would like that cue ball back into the baulk area, but he's going to have to play a good shot to do that.
Well, the one thing he won't be doing is moving either of the two safest reds near the left-hand side cushion. He's still got a 49-point lead. Dead weight to the back red.
Foul. Then it's Taylor Foulds.
Too gentle to reach the reds. He's left a red to the centre pocket. No chance of Dennis getting to a colour though from that red. Pink's tucked in behind the other reds. He'll have to settle for another further good safety shot.
Just debatable whether the cue ball can get past the blue to make the potting angle on the red. That was a good shot. So now Taylor is the one who's defending in this safety exchange. Here comes the glancing escape.
Foul. Neal Foulds.
He played off the red lowest in your picture, but actually got pretty near to hitting the one nearest the blue.
That was an excellent pot. Straightish blue will allow Neal to come forward to any of the three reds by the pink.
Six. Seven.
.56 in front. So Foulds only needs to pop the blue to leave Taylor needing a snooker. Easy access to another red. And this will leave Taylor needing several snookers.
13. $90. 20. Neal Foulds. 20.
The pink was careless, but that's plenty to assure Foulds of the first frame of the morning and a 6-4 lead.
Foulds has only beaten Dennis Taylor once, but it was an important match because it was here in the World Championship in '87. He beat Taylor 13-10 in the second round. The next frame is in progress. Foulds not looking too happy about things. He is quite a few points down. He's been trying to trap Taylor with some safety play.
Taylor just seeing whether the green goes past the brown. That's if he pots the yellow.
It was an extremely good pot with the rest. Just travelled a little too far for the pot, but nice snooker on here now.
Dennis Taylor.
Yesterday, Taylor won 3 close frames in tactical finishes from 5-1 down. That got him back to only 5-4 down overnight. And this frame has also come to a tactical battle on the colours.
A snooker off a snooker, that can't be bad. Just keeping the pressure on Dennis. He knows he's very important that he wins this frame. And that's not a good one. There's an angle to this pot that will allow Neal to get the cue ball back for Brown. Well, Neal, besides missing the green, has edged the pink over by close to a side cushion, so that certainly wasn't a good shot.
He's been having a kindly run of the balls, though, the last couple of minutes.
It was a good shot from Dennis. Green on one cushion and the pink on the other, or close enough to it.
Taylor smiles ruefully again because Foulds has snookered him very luckily on the green.
And with the green being so close to the top cushion and the black so close to the green, I don't think Dennis can hit the green off the end cushion. And coming off the side, he could knock it towards a corner pocket. Nasty position to be in, this one.
Foul. Neal Foulds.
But better slightly too slow than slightly too hard. Almost a snooker in behind the black, but instead a chance for Foulds to snatch the frame. Couldn't control the position as well as he would have liked at that distance. So although he could still pot the brown at that thin potting angle, he's got to take the cue ball round the table to get on the blue.
Could be giving consideration to dislodging the pink as well from this shot. To pot the brown and move the pink would be something. Well, he missed them both, but look where the brown finished.
This is not Dennis Taylor's week for doing the pools by the look of it. He has suffered some bad luck, or his opponent rather has been blessed with some good luck in the last few minutes. Couldn't do much with the cue ball though. Couldn't get it away from the side cushion. Good pot, and that was one occasion when the kick was actually helpful. It actually stopped the cue ball on impact. It only ran a couple of inches.
Neal Foulds. No.
But despite good brown, good blue, Foulds knows that if Taylor pots this pink, that's the frame. Well, Taylor did well to win that frame in the end. He had some bad luck, but he has won the frame and now trails only by one. Foulds leads 6-5.
Frame 12. Neal Foulds.
Well, it was a good try from Dennis, but once again, Neal's in first.
One. Three. Four. Eleven. Twelve.
Misjudged the contact off the second red. And what an interesting way of getting position.
19. Twenty. 27.
Not so good. He intended to be on the red lowest in your picture, to the right corner. He may have an alternative to the far corner, but it's second choice.
$33. $34.
Foulds has calculated that the pink won't go on its own spot. So the referee placing it as near as possible to its own spot, in a direct line between it and the middle of the top cushion. As near as possible another ball without touching.
40.
That's a good shot. He's managed to nudge another red out. He was running out of reds. Simple run through here, or he'll have another red to the corner.
.46.
Foulds continuing to capitalise on the lucky positional shot he had about 20 points ago, retaining position via the middle pocket jaw.
Long red to the corner, and he or the centre pocket. Yes, that's a good shot.
He's played to leave the top red into the middle pocket, but it's a bit tight. Once again, that was a demonstration of the beautiful cue action that Neal has. Wasn't an easy shot, that, and played it extremely well. Yes, and he's only got to make sure of the black, and Taylor will need a snooker.
Neal Foulds, 68.
One outstanding piece of positional luck in the middle of that break, but the rest of it wasn't lucky. Very solidly done.
And enough to give Foulds a 7-5 lead. But luck, well, look what's happening next. Frame 13, Foulds has made quite a bad mistake early on and given Taylor a real Easter present.
Yes, Dennis has the choice of several reds, but it's getting the cue ball onto a colour.
Taylor played that red as if he got quite a large fear that he was going to miss it. He played to get the cue ball behind the baulk line rather than for position on a low value colour. I think that that's one way in which his game has changed since he won the title here in 1985. He has lost some confidence and therefore has gone rather negative.
Good shot. Nice angle on the red to make the right angle on the blue. And the way these reds are positioned and colours on their spots, I think this is the best chance that Dennis has had all morning to make a sizable break.
Yes, I think there are two ways in which he can win this match, either with tactical jockeying, which he's very good at, and he's also pretty good still when he gets right in close. But once he gets on a break, he needs to keep the cue ball close to the object ball.
Dennis Taylor, 12.
Hard to believe. So with the red conveniently open, the black just about to go back on its spot. This is now a frame that Foulds should win. Taylor having failed to capitalise on a gilt-edged opportunity.
$70. 24. $31.
Taylor still pondering his ghastly miss.
32.
Yes, and Neal's put a little bit too much bite into that shot. Got the cue ball back further than he intended, and he's lost the ideal position. Needs a good pot now to regain that lost position. Yes, he's certainly striking them well.
37.
Yes, Eddie, I think that Neal Foulds is starting to strike the ball nearly as well as when he rose to third place in the world rankings 3 years ago. Down at 20th now, but that's deceptively low.
.45.
26 in front. If he gets rid of the two easier reds with high value colours, that'll be enough.
46. .52.
Wanted to leave this red straight to the middle. More difficult at that angle, but safely in. And no need for positional heroics here.
It's a heavy contact and the cue ball didn't
58.
follow the blue through as far as it should have. Maybe snookered now. Not a hard one to hit though, so close to the side cushion. Oh, he managed to miss it though.
Neal Foulds 58.
Oh dear.
Taylor 4. And a free roll.
Well, isn't it amazing? When Foulds was potting the blue, he looked a certainty for the frame. But now, having unluckily snookered himself and somehow or other failed to make what looked like a straightforward escape, he's in trouble. Taylor, of course, has put him in again. He's got to try and hit this last remaining red. And once the tactical jockeying starts on this last red, then it's by no means impossible that Taylor could win the frame with a clearance.
Foul. Dennis Taylor 4.
Not a miss, no?
Not a miss, no. Well, he missed it by about half an inch. And suddenly the runs changed round as well. Foulds failed to escape from the self-inflicted snooker as he should have done. Now that safety's gone wrong.
One.
And so Dennis Taylor, having thought that he'd thrown this frame away, has a chance to win it.
Six.
Yes, he's left an angle on the yellow. He's got to travel the length of the table to get to the green. And to win at this visit, he'll need to leave a cut on the green so that he can return 3 parts of the way back down the table for the brown. So he's got a lot of work to do from this position.
Eight.
Well, that's over the first hurdle. He's left a nice cut on the green. If he can make the pot, he'll certainly be back in the area for the brown.
11.
Well, he's gone a little past the brown. Be nice if it would pass the blue to the corner. Failing that, he'll have to cut it into the centre pocket. Just travelled far enough to make this shot awkward as well. Have to play the fine cut to the centre, and he's got to get on the pink. And that's a beauty. Straight pink now for a straight black.
What has he done?
What was wrong with the gentle run through and play the black to the corner pocket? Now he's in real trouble.
Risked it to the far corner though.
Dennis Taylor, 26.
So Dennis Taylor, having thought that he'd thrown the frame away and then thought that he'd possibly had it given back to him, has lost the frame after all. Neal Foulds leads by 8 frames to 5 at the intermission.
15 minutes in.
That means that Dennis Taylor has won only 1 frame this morning, and he scrambled that one. And all the drama happening here on this Easter Sunday, and backstage we've got one of the most talked about men in snooker at the moment, Stephen Hendry. That's how he practices. That's how you hope to pot him as well when it comes for real. He starts out on Tuesday against the very good French-Canadian Alain Robidoux, who's one of the successes of the World Team Championship. Anyway, that is to come. We shall now return to the match between Dennis Taylor and Neal Foulds. I wonder if Taylor is remembering that Foulds beat him 8-0 last week in a Matchroom League match. Anyway, they're back on, and Foulds has had 1 red down, and he's eyeing up a plant here. 1-0 and leading 8-5 in frames, needing 2 more for the match.
Well, that was very lucky. The main idea there was to get the cue ball back to the baulk cushion. Neal Foulds made a break of 72 yesterday afternoon off a fluke, and the way the balls are set, this could also be a sizable contribution.
7.
Straight on the blue, or near enough straight, so his shot after this has got to be a screw off a middle distance red back onto the blue. The cue ball in the wrong place again. But he's very consistent on those middle distance pots with a fair degree of power.
Just as good a running as well.
Touching ball.
Well, just a feather harder and he would have been on a straight red to the corner, but he could have counted himself lucky if that had happened. So he settles for second prize, takes advantage of the touching ball.
Neal Foulds. 30.
And was hoping to tuck the cue ball in behind the green. Played the cross double in conjunction with the safety shot. Well, he's struggled his way out of that one as well as he could. Nothing will be easy with the cue ball so close to the side cushion.
No, it's a difficult ball to make. Drew the white ball back a little too far, and instead of having a safety, he's left a red on for the centre pocket. It's not an easy one, though. Oh, it's another good shot from Neal. There's an angle on the black as well to move the cue ball out. Neal attempting to hit the pack there. Nothing on now, having missed them, so with a 48-point lead, a good safety shots, well and truly on.
17.
Taylor examining a possible plant to the middle pocket, not because he's going to play it, but in case he decides to leave the cue ball in the area lowest in your picture. Didn't want to risk the safety shot back into the balk area, but obviously he would have had to if he was leaving a plant to the middle. Possible plant to the corner now, which he can play in conjunction with safety.
Not ideal position for Dennis to be taking a colour from. But I would feel he'd have to try and pot the brown to score the points. And he did go for it. It's a very good pot and the position is excellent. So now what can he do from this position?
Not sure whether the back red now passes the one nearest to it to go to the corner. If it won't, then Taylor will probably disturb the cluster.
Dennis Taylor, 30.
Well, it was a bit tight, and now that he's ended up missing it, that could be very serious. He trails by 35. Foulds has developed another red into a potable position, and this is now a chance to clinch a lead of 4 up with 5 to play.
Yes, he's getting lots of opportunities, Neal, and he's certainly taking them. Perfect angle on the black to bring the last red out. It is on for the centre pocket now. He's just moved it enough to make it potable.
Neal Foulds, 21.
It doesn't matter that he's missed it. 56 in front, 35 on the table. Should be more than enough. Taylor still keeps battling. He has to, even when the hope is very forlorn.
Frame conceded. Frame to Neal Foulds.
No point in battling anymore though, so Neal Foulds leads by 9 frames to 5. 4 up, 5 to play.
Interpret those mathematics by saying quite simply he needs one more to win the match. Well, in the next, Foulds has started well, a break of 32. Taylor's only potted 1 red. He's got 4 from a foul, but he's well behind here. But there's a bit of a chance here, surely.
Taylor's potted very few long balls in this match. It's an aspect of his game which has deteriorated quite a bit since he won the title here 5 years ago.
Neal Foulds. 1.
Left himself more to do on the blue through a careless positional shot from the initial easy red. So Taylor still not out of this frame.
Now he can edge the red away from the black. It's a good shot.
8. 9. 16. 17. 23. 24. 30.
The ideal thing here would be to run into the red on the cushion in such a way as to leave himself on the blue.
31.
But he didn't have the angle quite to do that from that position. Could try and disturb it down from the black.
I think there's only one shot for Dennis to play now, and that's cut the red off the side cushion in behind the black and try and get the white down behind those balk colours. And this looks pretty good. Not quite far enough behind the yellow, though. It's not a hard red to hit off the top cushion. Again, though, Taylor's long potting wasn't quite up to it. Yes, it's a good snooker from Dennis. But unfortunately, the red sitting so close to the side cushion makes it an easy target. But at least he's achieved a potable chance. And if he could just make this one and get behind that blue and get it back onto its spot. Not of ifs and buts, but he needs them all. Oh, he couldn't have placed the cue ball better with his hand. And that's another excellent shot. Not the very best. Could have done with bouncing the cue ball off the cushion a little further. Now then, good position from the brown, and it should be all over. Couldn't play the pot slowly enough to hold perfect position on the blue. Well, that was a good shot. This frame keeps Dennis in the match. Foulds had a match clinching chance, didn't take it. Taylor pulls a frame back. He still trails though by 9 frames to 6.
Oh, it's hard work for Dennis here this morning, isn't it? Well, that was just a few moments ago. We've just got a few minutes left of this program, the first of our 3 today. So that match, as I say, going on. Let's go in and join it live now with Taylor on 6th, Foulds on 9, still needing 1, and Taylor, he's coming back again, 42-14. This is Foulds at the table. Just wait a second. So there he goes, 42-19, and Clive Everton is there with Eddie Charlton.
Yes, David. Foulds has forced an opening with a good safety. And this is a chance to get right back into contention in the frame which he needs to clinch the match.
26. $27. $31.
Into the lead with that brown. Should manage to drop the red in the middle.
$31. Neal Foulds.
But missed it through overstretching.
Well, Dennis Taylor trying hard to stay in there, and Foulds missing that red into the centre pocket. Gave him a chance, and I think a little battle of safety play now about to come up. It could be a little while yet. We've come right up to the end of our programme. We've got to go. We'll have that match in the next programme. It's at 2:40. We'll have news of Mountjoy and Gollan and 2 more matches here this afternoon. We'll be back at 2:40.
Then again, he has a possible 8 points if he uses the black. So those are the options that he's now considering.
$7.
And that was an extremely good shot.
$11.
Should be plain sailing now.
$14.
Foulds knows he should have won the match in the last frame.
Dennis has left this just that little bit more difficult than it should have been.
$18.
It's a good pot.
Dennis Taylor was 9-5 down. He has reduced his arrears to 9-7.
2 in a row for Taylor, 3 to play. Taylor needs them all if he is to stay in this year's Embassy World Championship. The next one in progress. Foulds has started well with a break of 46. He's back at the table with Taylor having scored 20.
Good safety that. So near the cushion that Taylor can't return the cue ball to a similar position.
Yes, Dennis would have preferred that cue ball hard to the ball cushion. Both reds are onto the centre pocket, but neither of them are easy. Well, Neal took on the risky pot. Now, what can Dennis do from here? It's the very first red that he needs to make.
One.
Foulds led 46-0 in this frame. He also led by 29 points midway through the last one.
Eight.
But Taylor's recovery continues. 3 comparatively easy reds available now.
Nine. Fifteen. 60. 22. 23.
'" Dennis can get to either red. Just summing up the one that he fancies the most. That's a well-played shot, even though he
27.
has to use the rest. Just drawing back far enough to leave an angle on the pink to cross for the final red. Went back for the blue, but he's overrun it. It's a little bit straight now to force around the table and back to the yellow, so he'll probably take the yellow ball now. Back off the blue for the yellow. So now he's even further away.
40.
Good pot required now.
Well, that evens things up a bit. Taylor had a cruel run earlier this morning. And if he was going to get a fluke, it couldn't have happened for him at a better time. The fluke on the yellow made it easy for him to go on to clinch the frame. If the yellow had stayed out, he might be walking back to the dressing room.
54.
Yes, and this is going to give Dennis a real lift, Clive.
Couldn't agree more, Eddie. 3 frames in a row he's won.
60 on the frame.
And if he can win 2 more, he would complete an epic recovery. Foulds still leads though by 9-8, 1 up, 2 to play.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The 18th frame. Neal Foulds.
Still no joy with the long pots for Taylor. He's hedging his bets by getting the cue ball back into baulk most times, but he could still do with knocking a few of those in. Choice between rolling up behind the green or taking it to the middle.
Neal Foulds. 1. Touching ball. 6.
Yes, that was a good shot with the rest. Not only had to pot the red, but he had to get the cue ball as well placed as he has.
$30. $14. $21. $22.
Now he's made an angle on the top red to really take the cue ball hard into those remaining reds and back for the black. But in doing all that, he's missed a vital shot.
Yes, jabbed at it a bit. Anxiety starting to creep in, understandably, because Foulds was 9-5 in front. And an action replay of the last 3 frames may be starting to unfold. In each of those 3 frames, Foulds held useful leads, but Taylor ended up winning them all.
$6. Dennis Taylor, 6.
But if Taylor's going to continue his recovery, he can't afford to miss balls like that.
Now Neal has an angle on the pink to open out that little cluster of red balls. With other reds in the clear as well, though. Should he risk that at this stage of the frame?
$7. $8.
Foulds meant to leave the cue ball top side of the blue to come towards most of the reds.
30.
And these drops to the middle pocket from narrow angles aren't easy.
13. Neal Foulds.
Taylor contemplating red to the middle pocket. Well, he'd have been better off missing it by a wider margin, but he just caught the far jaw, bounced straight back. And here's a great opportunity for Foulds to increase substantially his 37-point lead.
Four.
Clear-cut opportunity, with the balls lying as they are, to clinch the match and a place in the last 16.
Yes, and Neal has been very consistent. Scored points in practically every frame that's been played in this match. He's made it hard going for Dennis, no two ways about it.
Got into that a bit more than he intended, so this next red is not quite the certainty that it should have been. Safely in though, and Foulds knew that that was the one that was going to leave Taylor needing 2 snookers. He's just wondering whether to play a safety or go for a pot.
Neal Foulds, 21.
I'm sure the safety was the wise option. No point in giving Taylor the opportunity to get 3 reds, 3 blacks, and then search for the snookers he needs.
Foul, Neal Foulds, 4.
Oh, and that'll be a free ball.
The free ball.
So Dennis Taylor concedes without further ado. He's tasted triumph in 85, but today it's Neal Foulds who goes through the winner by 10 frames to 8.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our snooker for this morning.
Well, Neil, you got there.
Yes. Silly of me to think I was going to beat Dennis without a fight, isn't it? At 9-5, I thought the match was over, and then a couple of chances to do so, but, you know, he's been the world champion. This is his centre stage for him, really. And he certainly wasn't going to go down without a fight, like probably he's never done in his life, so just delighted to get the match over with.
Your own game seems to have come back.
Yeah, it's been improving over the last year or so, but the results haven't really came until recently. Still, I haven't, you know, fulfilled what I think I can do. But it's been a question of starting again for some reason. I think as soon as I accepted the fact that I was bad, then there's only one way you can go, and that's up. While I sort of half thought I was still playing to my world ranking of number 3 as it used to be, then things were never going to be right. I seem to have just accepted it and started again, looked at my game and started from scratch, and it seems to be paying off at the moment.
Foulds then, he's into the second round of the draw, where, as you've heard, he plays either Willie Thorne or Tony Drago. He was right, 6-3, and that's how they are at the moment. They're resuming this afternoon. We'll be seeing that match in this programme. It's the half of the draw where Steve Davis is through to play Steve James, the man who last night here beat Alex Higgins, when Higgins, as you've heard, I'm sure by now, announced his retirement, announced a few other things as well. There is a statement expected this afternoon from Higgins, and of course, if it arrives, we'll let you have it in this programme. But we'll concentrate, I think, on the snooker rather than all that at the moment. Other half of the draw, the half that includes Stephen Hendry, who starts. Higgins made quite a few disparaging statements about the game of snooker and individuals connected with the game. Taking into account the statements and the complaint already received of an alleged assault on the press officer before the press conference began, the board of the WPBSA will be taking the appropriate action to invoke the disciplinary procedure as laid down within the articles of the association as soon as possible. What that really means is that the WPBSA, the governing body of the game, are going to investigate what happened here last night and make some decision. It is the latest chapter in a long list of incidents involving Alex Higgins. Alex Higgins' manager is Doug Perry, and today Doug Perry and Higgins made this statement. Doug Perry said, "I have spoken to Alex today, and he stands by the statements he made last night in Sheffield concerning the current state of snooker." Then he added, "As far as the playing side of snooker is concerned, Alex and I," that's Doug Perry as manager, "will be discussing the matter in the next few days. So does the resignation, the retirement stand? We don't know. Alex says that he will take part in invitation tournaments if he's invited, and if he does decide to walk away from the game, he says they can't call me a has-been." They've also added, by the way, that they're having discussions over the next few days concerning the book and the film of the life of Alex Higgins. It's not quite the end of the story, because Dennis Taylor today has confirmed that he is going to make an official complaint to the WPBSA concerning statements that Higgins made at the World Team Championship in Bournemouth before this championship began. Higgins made statements about Taylor and Taylor's family, and Taylor said he's received so many letters from people that he feels he now has to make an official complaint. We shall await the outcome of all that, I am sure. What about Dennis Taylor, then? Well, Dennis Taylor, unlike some people, has actually been playing snooker here today. He's been playing Neal Foulds.
Well, credit to him. Every break off of Neal, I've left him a tough long shot, and he knocked so many of them in. He killed a lot of the frames. I don't know how many breaks over 40 he had, but there was a lot of them. That's the best. That's the best Neal's played since I played him here a couple of years ago, was it? So, I mean, the man ranked number 20, he's back playing the way he was a few years ago. He's gone through a rough patch, and it's nice to see him. I mean, he must have went through hell, dropping down the ranking so much. But if he keeps playing with that sort of form and knocking in the long balls and the pressure balls, he's going to take a bit of beating. It's, I can see him going a long way in the tournament.
So, Dennis Taylor, one of the great characters of snooker, the former champion, the man who featured in that great final against Steve Davis. More people watch that than any other television program on BBC Two and Sport, is gone from this year's championship. Neal Foulds is through, and Neal Foulds will now play Willie Thorne. Willie Thorne today, a winner against Tony Drago from Malta, 10 frames to 4. Drago, on the second time he's appeared here at the Crucible, got very frustrated, didn't really play at his best, but all credit to Willie, he's through by the score of 10 frames to 4. We have another winner today as well, one of the Welshmen here, there have been 8 here altogether. Doug Mountjoy's got through against a very new and a very good Canadian, Brady Gollan. We'll see a lot more of him, I'm sure. Mountjoy is through by the score of 10 frames to 8. And another match has started out here today, featuring Mike Hallett playing Steve Newbury. That plays to a finish tomorrow, and Mike Hallett has an overnight lead over Steve Newbury by the score of 5 frames to 4. Let's see how all that fits into the draw of the Embassy World Championship. There it is, there's Hallett's match, and Cliff Thorburn and Cliff Wilson. Thorburn leading 5-4. Going to see some of that in this program. The other results I've been mentioning there. In the top half of the draw, then. The top half of the draw will arrive. And we know that Steve Davis is through to play Steve James. There's that Willie Thorne result, 10-4 against Tony Drago. Neal Foulds' result, 10-8, as I've told you, against Dennis Taylor. And the other matches still to start, including Terry Griffiths and Nigel Gilbert, which is the match we're going to now.